Oh man, 2 more Roger Corman films. Does anybody out there hate him as much as I do? It feels like it's been too soon since Sharktopus. How could I forget that little gem? Anyway, on to film number 1 of this Roger Corman double bill. Now, I only really found out about Galaxy of Terror about 6 months ago when Joker3852 asked me to review it, and I've kept putting it off time and time again, hoping that something better will come along and save me. But as usual, I've caved in, so here we go. It starts with a guy on board a crashed ship on a random planet running from nothing and randomly throwing himself into the walls, which kinda reminded me of Bennett in Commando running headlong into a wall for no reason. We then jump to an unknown place where an old lady explains that she's an interpreter or an oracle of a game and works for some planet master with a glowing red blob for a head. A guy appears on the TV and says the ship from earlier has crashed and everyone is dead, but Planet Master Blob seems to know exactly what is going on, and when the guy mentions a certain planet, Master Blob gets excited. I mean, just listen to what he says here.
Location?
Morganthus. We don't know why they landed there.
Morganthus. At last.
You could put a bit more emotion into it so we can tell if you're happy or sad about it, since we can't actually see the emotion in your face. Moving on, Blob tells the guy on the TV screen to get a crew and a ship together, so he does. The acting in this film is priceless. I mean, just check this out.
Yeah, but you've been on the go now for what, nearly 25 years? Since the Hesperus, if I'm not mistaken.
Hesperus. Yes. Everyone's forgotten now.
Bad editing too, but I don't think anyone will notice. Reminds me a bit of this.
That's something. Something I don't think you quite appreciate, Tom. That's all for tonight, Tom.
But...
Good night.
And if the acting doesn't make you laugh, the special effects will. The team get to the planet and investigate the crashed ship from earlier. The air on the planet is breathable, oh yeah. Just like most episodes of Star Trek. Maybe they didn't have the budget for full-on spacesuits. Now apparently, in the future, humans appear to have this custom where we just blow up any dead corpses we find. This guy craps his pants here, as you can see. Why, I don't bloody know. And when he runs into his crewmates, they don't seem to care what happened to him, and they walk away. So he gets killed. Good. That means they don't have to characterise him, and I don't need to care. In fact, none of them are characterised, but I'm sure you knew that was going to be the case. Who are these people? Why should I care? Why does the bald guy with the beard remind me of Rasputin? What the hell is going on? Oh my god, it's Robert Englund. Yeah, he's in this crappy excuse of a film. He's really wasted in this film, and his role is pointless, and could have been filled equally as well by a scarecrow wearing his costume, or a tape player playing a recording of his voice. Why can't he just put on his Freddy glove and go nuts? And the guy who looks like Rasputin dies. And I have to say, it's probably the more gruesome part of the film where the blade breaks off and goes up his arm, but it's spoilt somewhat when he cuts his own arm off and it practically falls off like a shop window dummy's arm. All they seem to be doing is randomly walking in circles. Next up is the infamous giant worm raping a crew member scene, which I'm not going to show. Suffice to say that I still intensely dislike Roger Corman by this point. And a few more people die along the way through the mind-numbing tedium of their wandering around in the dark. Seriously, this is the lion's share of the film. All it is long-ass scenes of people walking around in poorly lighted corridors. It's not tension building because it's just fucking boring. I must say, after 50 minutes of the hour and 20 minutes, I have to admit I lost interest in the film. There's an amusing segment where Robert Englund, aka Freddy, has a fight with himself, and the random psychic woman dies by wires or ropes that pull her to pieces using visual effects, which just looks awful. And at the very end, the last survivors are the guy with the moustache and Freddy. Oh, and this guy here, who was the cook on board the ship, turns out to be the glowing red-headed planet blob master or whatever. Cue a lame fight sequence which you can't see in a pitch black corridor. Tashman then fights off everybody who has died, kills the old guy, and so Tashman becomes the new Red Blob Master. Master of what? Then the film just ends. What a load of balls. The film was at least amusing for the first 30 minutes, but after that it just became so tedious and boring. Now apparently Galaxy of Terror is a cult film, but God knows why. But then again, Manos the Hands of Fate is also a cult classic, so what do I know?
But the child, I'm not sure the master would approve.
You people out there on the internet may enjoy this film more than I do, but personally I think it's pants, and would rather watch Attack of the Crab Monsters again. Alright, film number 2 of the Roger Corman double bill. Something a bit more recent, Dinoshark. Now, if Sharktopus was anything to go by, hopefully this will be another amusing no-brainer of a film that I can just switch my brain off for 90 minutes while I watch it. Now, it begins by showing a random piece of ice dislodging in the Arctic, and all the little baby Dinosharks swim away. Ah, how sweet. Jump 3 years down the line and some old geezer is on a boat. He does a quick dive to look at some damage, and the Dinoshark attacks. And that's not a bad looking effect. The Dinoshark looks alright when it's underwater. When it's out of the water though, well, that's a different story. It doesn't matter how bad the CGI gets in this film, it still looks a million times better than Sharktopus, or Mega Shark vs Giant Octopus. This film is loaded with stock footage like it's from somebody's holiday videos or something, or one of those commercials you see on TV trying to make you go to an exotic place on holiday. So everybody meet our main man, Eric Balfour. Who? Yeah, I've never heard of him either. Sorry for the quick roundup, but not a lot happens in this film. So Eric swings into his hometown in Mexico after being away for a while and catches up with some old friends in a bar. Oh, how convenient. The hot blonde works in the exact field of science that will be useful in this film. One of my favourite cliches.
Oh yeah, what do you teach?
Oh, I teach environmental science with a focus on aquatic ecosystems.
Yeah, big words. Let's drink.
Eric witnesses 2 coast guards and their boat get eaten, and some of his friends from the bar also get eaten as well. Eric and the blonde lady, Carol, vow to find out what has happened and who is responsible. And they find the distress beacon which belonged to the old geezer who died at the very beginning, prompting even more strange questions. So Carol goes home at the end of the day and starts doing some research into what marine creature could be capable of causing this death and destruction. She discovers the identity of the Dinoshark, and then... No, I'm not messing around. That clip hasn't been altered or edited in any way. That's exactly what happens. So she goes to see Roger Corman himself to test the DNA of the creature, which is on the distress beacon. And while this goes on, Eric is randomly shooting at the Dinoshark until he gets pulled over by the cops. A load of unneeded plot dialogue happens, and the barman Louis joins the team. They attempt to trap the creature in a narrow channel. Doesn't work out predictably. And within a split second, the police chief, who is a total dick, is now on Eric's side and believes them after it takes a helicopter down. Typical. And where the hell did he get a rocket launcher from? He dies though when the Dinoshark turns up during a water polo match. We get to see a few more ridiculous kills like the windsurfer, the paraglider and the tourist boat. And when it's time to take the creature down, what do? Don't use the rocket launcher. Oh no, you do it Eric Balfour style. Pick up a grenade, dive into the water, commandeer a free jet ski, chase the Dinoshark down, and when it jumps out of the water to eat you, you jump as well and throw a grenade at it, blowing it the hell up. But it's not over yet. For an encore, you save the orphan child from the beast, and you get your hot lady friend to harpoon it right in the face, sending it to die on the ocean floor. And then presumably you finally ride back to the shore like the coolest hero ever. Finally, the film ends back in the Arctic, showing a new batch of Dinosharks hatching. So after all that, was the film okay? Yeah, it's not bad. It's my favourite film by Roger Corman that I've seen so far. It was middle of the road entertainment and held my attention for 90 minutes, and I thought it was way better than that load of old bollocks Sharktopus. So, 5 out of 10.